Hello, this is Max Garazmenko, Michael Capuana, and Michael Graver. Today we are going to talk about a very useful and popular elicitation technique called card sorting. Card sorting is very simple. It's a sorting method in which many cards with different domain entities are created so that a stakeholder can go through the cards and organize them the way they see fit. The stakeholders are not instructed on how the cards should be organized, but instead are able to sort them based on their understanding. There are two important parts to this process. The first is that the stakeholder should explain their rationale for why they are organizing the cards the way they are. This other important detail is that the cards include all of the different domain entities. The card sort can occur a number of different ways, whether it is just a quick and simple method like using note cards, or whether the process is more advanced, such as doing it on computer software, where the user can drag and structure different text fields with the name of the entities. Here on the right, you can see an example of a simple card sorting method, where the domain entities have been written on post-it notes. The participants have written the different groups on the whiteboard, then taken each of the post-its and organized them on the respected groups. Now that we have a better understanding of what card sorting is, we can explain exactly how the card sorting process works. It starts with the researcher defining each of the different domain entities that will be sorted, and writing them on a card. The researcher then gathers a stakeholder who will sort the cards and explain the process to the stakeholder. The researcher explains what the stakeholder needs to do, but not how to sort the cards. The cards are then given to the stakeholder for the stakeholder to examine how they can understand which domain entities need to be sorted and gain a basic idea of how they will organize the different entities. The stakeholder will then decide the different groups, and the cards will be organized into and begin sorting the cards into those groups. Once each of the groups are distinguished and the cards for that group have been added, the stakeholder will structure the group with the domain entities that are most important or take top priority at the top, and the less important ones that are a lesser requirement at the bottom. During this process of grouping the card entities and structuring them, the stakeholder will vocally explain the rationale for why they chose that particular decision. Once the process is ended and a structure with different groups and priorities for each entity has been established, the structure is recorded. In this diagram, we can see how the pile of defined cards goes from being completely unorganized to grouped to actually structured. There are a number of advantages to card sorting. The requirements are sorted with prioritization, the researchers gain a better understanding of the stakeholder's knowledge of the domain, card sorting is a very simple and quick method of sorting, and the cost is very low, if there's any at all.
I'm going to talk about the downside of the card sorting technique, as well as recommendation when to use it. First, card sorting analysis can be time-consuming. The sorting is quick, but the analysis of the data can be difficult and time-consuming, particularly if there is little consistency between participants. Analysis may not explore enough. Participants may not consider what the content is about or how they would use it to complete a task and may just sort it by surface characteristics. Sort does not consider users' tasks. Card sorting is an inherently content-centric technique. If used without considering users' tasks, it may lead to information structure that is not usable when the users are attempting real tasks. Labels are not presented in the context. Without context, the ability for the labels to represent meaning is diminished. Divergent groups of participants. If you have several user groups in your sorting study, you may end up with confusing results because the groups structure things differently. For example, you might have both employees and their managers in your sample, but you would be better off to have them store the data separately and look at the results for each group. Recommendation. When you want to develop classification, it's a good sort to use. Most researchers have suggested that the card sorting method is an excellent approach to help develop classification, and that it delivers the classification that people actually use. Also, if you don't have enough time and the job needs to be done fast, this technique is great to use. Card sorting studies are simple for the organizer and the participants. Minimal setup. Many sorts can be executed quickly, providing you with a significant amount of valuable data. Card sorting results can provide an input for another technique and further analysis.
So I did an open sort with a home teacher, a visiting teacher, and an elders quorum president. And an open sort pretty much means I gave him the card, I let him organize them how it please, and then name the groups that they were organized into. And on these cards, you'll see in the following presentations, I took pictures of how they organized them, and you'll see like stake president, schedule, visit taught, and anything that we felt should be included in the app or should be included whenever going home teaching or visiting teaching. So the first person I met with was a visiting teacher. And so what she did is she first grabbed all the leadership roles and put them together and just named them leadership. You'd go in and just get all the information that you need. And then she put the home teaching and the visiting teachers in separate piles with your companion, the lesson taught, and the home taught, being able to just look at that information very quickly and easy. And then she put the very bottom three cards, as you see there, is reporting number, schedule, calendar, and ward directory. She put those into almost like a tools category, but she felt like those things should be put into three different categories even, because they're important and should be easily accessible. The next person I talked to was a home teacher, and the home teacher, as you see at the very top, started with the schedule, calendar, and ward directory, and he felt like those should be easy access and have like be their own separate categories. He also delegated the two groups of home teachers and visiting teachers, but something he did different is he put the reporting numbers in with those groups too. So when you'd go in and look all of that information, you would also be able to go into that same area and report the numbers. He also included that if you're a visiting teacher, a home teacher or a visiting teacher, you should only be able to see one or the other, and you don't want to see both and be overwhelmed with information. And as you see at the bottom, he also put all the leadership together for easy access. And the very last, the elders quorum president. Sorry for the cutoff. At the very top, you see the elders quorum president, and he kind of put out there saying he didn't feel like he played a major role. He may want to look at the information, but he didn't feel like he should be included. So what he did is he put the Bishop, Relief Society, the Ward Directory, and the Elders Quorum President together so you could have easy, quick access to them. And then he even said about possibly removing those and just pushing it all into the Ward Directory. He then said it would be good to see a home teachers and a visiting teachers list where you can just look at all of the companionships and be able to quickly read that. And that along with those lists, you would also have report numbers. He then put the home taught and the lesson taught together so you could look at who you're going to be teaching, and then quickly then just go into your lesson with them in mind. And then very last, he put the companionship, the calendar, and the together so you could look at your companion and then have a schedule quickly to look at with his information, so if you need to call him or just post information there, so quick and easy access.